welcome to the latest episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This week we'll be discussing the 1983 comedy classic, DC Cab, starring Adam Baldwin, Gary Busey, Mr. T, Bill Maher, Paul Rodriguez. The list really goes on and on. For those of you joining us for the first time, each week we'll discuss different B movies from the past, kind of give you a little bit of the plot, what happened during it, some behind the scenes looks, and then finally what Rotten Tomatoes thought about it. Typically these movies are available streaming instantly on Netflix. I typically let people know at the beginning of the week online what the movie is, how they can see it, and I welcome their questions and comments. You can reach me through our page on Facebook, The Original B Movie Club, also on our YouTube page, B Movie Club, and finally you can reach me on Twitter at KD9575. Thank you for joining us. And now, DC Cab. In this, there's a new kid in town, played by Adam Baldwin, who's arrived in Washington, D.C., to join one of his dad's former war buddies, basically his cab company. We discovered this was like his dream to own his own cab company. Okay, I'm not one to judge. A dream's a dream. As he arrives, he meets a gang of misfits, a ragtag band down on their luck. Stop me if you've heard this before. Including, of course, Mr. T, Paul Rodriguez, who styles himself after Richard Gere in American Gigolo. So there you go. That's his little point there. There's a lot of comedians in this movie. You've got also Bill Maher, kind of wisecracking. A lot of people don't remember. Bill Maher was in a lot of crappy movies in the 80s before he became politically incorrect. So there you go. Also, there were the Barbarian Brothers, if you remember them, from the 80s. Two twin brothers who were all pumped up. So there you go. Marsha Warfield, remember her from Night Court? Like I said, the list goes on and on. Adam Baldwin is the young guy, and as I said previously, he's really in no relation to the other Baldwin brothers, Alec, Billy, Daniel, Stephen. Shockingly enough, you might remember him. He was in My Bodyguard. That was his big hit prior to this. So there you go. Like I said, the cab company's down on its luck. Okay, their cabs are cruddy looking. They don't get all the the best locations. They can't even go pick people up from the airport. They don't have the right license for some reason. The local board that governs the cabs is telling them to clean up their act or they're going to be shut down. So this is where it all comes up. Adam Baldwin saved up a little bit of money and he's able to invest in the company, turn it around, get the cabs repainted, get fancy gold jackets for all the cab drivers. Hey, good things happen from there. Later in the movie he gets kidnapped. I can't explain it. It's going off the rails here. He gets kidnapped. His name is in the paper as one of the kidnappers. It's all very complicated. I don't want to spoil it all for you, but it all works out in the end. I guess that is a spoiler. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, DC Cab, directed by Joel Schumacher, who later went on to do like St. Elmo's Fire in the 90s. He did Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, those things. Very famous guy. He actually helped write this as well, so there you go. Funny thing, as you might imagine, working with Gary Busey, a little tricky. He plays the wacky cabbie Dell. A lot of his lines, as you might imagine, totally unscripted. Sometimes you wonder if he was even aware there's a camera on him. It was just Gary Busey saying bizarre and inappropriate things. What else is new, right? Mr. T obviously had just done Rocky III not so long ago, so he was on the up and up. Later he'd get the A-Team and, of course, his own cartoon show, Mr. T. There you go. Like I said, it had all these comedians, Paul Rodriguez, Bill Maher. I was laughing because there's like a cameo by this Jamaican, I guess he's Jamaican, he's got dreadlocks, one of the cabbies. I looked it up. He's Otis Day from Animal House. Otis, my man. So there you go. You gotta watch the show. You see Grady from Sanford and Son. He's Mr. Rhythm. Like I said, there's craziness. It's kind of an old story where it's the crazy band of rejects who somehow pull it together in the end and turn over a whole new leaf. Have we ever heard that story before? Yeah, we have. It's okay. The most bizarre thing of this, in my mind, is the fact that Adam Baldwin comes to town with dreams of being a cabbie, and all the cab drivers he meets all seem to not like being a cabbie. Shocker. So, there you go. In case you wanted to become a cab driver, there's all these issues that you need to be aware of. And I think this movie accurately represents that. So there you go. All-star cast, a lot of cameos. Irene Cara, who you might remember from Fame, she plays herself in this. Back between like 83 and 86, she was a big star. Yeah, you're going to have to Google her. Anyway, DC Cab, I enjoyed it. Not the best movie in the world, as you might imagine. It is, in fact, one of our B-movie selections. But it's really kind of a loose script. You know, it's basically he goes riding with each of these cabbies and experiences, the things that they go through. In some ways, it's very similar to Taxi Cab Confessions. So there you go. I went on Rotten Tomatoes to find out what Rotten Tomatoes gave this, and it doesn't even have a score. That's how bad. Like, literally 2 critics have read it, or have seen this movie and written a review of it. So that's no good. The audience, like the fans, gave it 46% for what it's worth. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Doesn't sound too good to me. So it is streaming instantly on Netflix still. My buddy Tori was begging me to do DC Cab for ages. So Tori, this one's for you. Hope you enjoy it. Next week, we're going to go down to the sci-fi realm with the hit movie Swamp Thing, based upon the popular comic book. A lot of people don't know that. It was a comic book before it was a movie. So there you go. Starring Adrienne Barbeau, Louis Jourdan, directed by John Carpenter. So there you go. Actually, it's not directed by John Carpenter. Directed by Wes Craven. My bad. It is streaming instantly on Netflix, so check it out. Send me your questions, comments, favorite scenes, favorite quotes, and we'll talk about it on the show. Again, you can reach me on YouTube. You can reach me on Facebook, on Twitter. Please subscribe. Please like the Facebook page and tell a friend. Spread the word. Help a brother out. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote, and here it is. If I wanted responsibility, I'd have become a sex surrogate. There you go. Thank you, Gary Busey, for that one. Ad-libbed, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us. Next week, Swamp Thing. And be well.